Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States. And we're going to be taking a look at Wolflow and Tsubakill's crew battles. I don't know if this is the first or second round, so please let me know. The video says second round, but just let me know which one went first. But I am watching this one second, so I will assume that this one is the second round because of the video uploads. So, but I do know that Tsubakill was eliminated, and it's very unfortunate because they were not in my top people that I would have picked, especially because of how they were placing in the other parts of the challenges. I did feel that I don't know who won in the K-pop challenge between Tsubakill and Bebe. I'm gonna assume it was Bebe if Tsubakill was eliminated, but I think that they held their own super well. I think they were one of the above average or top tier crews when it came to the well-roundedness of what they brought to the table. So it is very unfortunate that we don't get to see any more from them, but I am excited for that crew and what they pursue in the future, for the fact that there's so many people, myself included, that have been able to see them grow and see them in this light, so I can follow their journeys outside of the show. So, but enough of me talking, we're gonna get into the reaction.
Guys, ready? Fight! This is state of emergency.
Ooh, they got some props.
What you want me to do? I'm sorry. I'm back.
This is Jay-Z's track.
Hey.
This is definitely more creative than what they did in the first round that I saw of theirs.
Show me what you got, little.
Woo! Wow! Into a Brooklyn top rock. Oh, I love the top rock sequence they're doing here. Wow! Dive rolls to a 6-step. Nice. Sheesh! To a shootout. Wow! Definitely super strong from them.
I can't believe we made it. This is what we're thankful. I can't believe we made it. This is different. I ain't never seen a crowd. Give me my check. Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks.
Wow.
We live in lavish. I got expensive fabrics. I got expensive habits. He wanna go with me. He likes to. He wanna be with me. He wanna give me that vitamin D.
Hey. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. With Wolflow, I think this was probably one of the best sequences of choreo I have seen from them by a long shot. I actually love that. That crew little excerpt right there I love that more than their crew preview. I love that more than their excerpt from the K-pop challenges. I don't know, there was something about that just felt so felt mafia-esque, but in a really cool way. You know, it made me honestly kind of wish there was a full, they did a whole crew choreo outside of the 40 seconds. It was just, you know, a whole, not mega crew length, but solid. I wanted 2.5 minutes of that. I was right in that. Love the suits. It was nice. It was cool. Having that trump, dude. I don't know if it was a trumpet, that sounds. Clarinet, maybe. Y'all let me know if you are a music enthusiast. Please tell me what instrument that is. I'm gonna assume it's a clarinet, maybe, or an oboe. I don't know. Saxophone, maybe. That doesn't matter. But here, it's they set it up pretty well. I will say both of them kind of started around the same time, which is why it didn't bother me as much like it did the first round, where you had Wolflow really start going pretty immediate, but then you had Tsubakill kind of waited off a little bit, but they really captivated. Both crews did. This right here with the umbrella, I wish I had a front shot of this. That's super cool. Love the peel out of the single, of our single going into my 1, 2, 3. That was super nice little ripple peel out there. They frame this great. Like she goes, hit, and then she doesn't use her umbrella. She sets it down. They take their umbrellas. I don't know if that was a mistake or what, but it was played off so well. Love that kick to the ball change that happened. And it's also really important to note when you work with props, so this is just from my experience when working with props like this. So when you're dealing with something that's a stick and it is like an extension of your arm, you have to be mindful that when you're doing unison choreography with other people, how your angle of your long stick or umbrella or whatever you have, or a pole, has to be really similar. It either needs to be center if you're in the center, or at the same angle as the other people do. I'm actually cleaning a routine right now for a studio that involves a prop very similar to this. And that's something that we're gonna have to touch on, is the cleanliness of the angles, because this is an extension of your arm, and just like everybody's range of their arm needs to be similar, the range of your prop extension also needs to be similar in order to get your imagery across that you want. So that's like my overall note that I noticed that they did a very good job on. That's what I meant to say. This part right here, that pull around, and then they tucked it underneath. Like, that is mad creative and impressive. And I love my 3 that were kind of, I think, were they going in opposite? Let me see. Yeah, they kind of threw their umbrellas away. That was so nice, where they went down and you just got to see that moment happen. And then they pulled a little bit more to really do a knee spin there. That was so fun. But then they're still hanging out here doing what they're doing in unison. And then you have my top dancers doing some incredible. That was a barrel jump. You know, like, this is full energy into a top rock section, which was fabulous. Cartwheel into a dive roll, into a slide through. Like, that's fabulous. Straight into floor work from breaking. So they are, like I've mentioned before, I'm really hopeful that Wolflow really pulls it out, because I really think, like, because I've already seen their mega crew at this point, I really love their mega crew. I think it was definitely in the top section, you know, like, if you're looking at, like, definitely one of the ones that caught my attention. And it's not because I watched that one first, but it was because just the visuals that they brought to the table, even watching everybody's, was very captivating. And they still looked like themselves, and it felt like a crew, you know, and they've really held their identity strong this entire competition. And the only note that I have had for them is their choreography is more simplistic for the competitiveness of the show, because I feel like part of the aspect of the show is complexity of what you're bringing to the table. It can work against you. Like, you know, maybe I know some of you were talking about with Mana Queen, how they had their content may have been a little too complex for the K-pop challenge, right? But with this, like, there's other times where maybe it's a little too simplistic for a K-pop challenge, when it needs to be a little bit beefier because we're dealing with 4th generation idols. So there's like a balance that needs to happen, and formations and visuals and who you feature matters too, right? Like, it's a completely different ball game with a K-pop group versus a mega crew versus a battle crew, right? This feels very much like we are watching Wolflow in their element, and it's such a joy to watch. And I think this is like one of my favorite things I've seen from them. And it's clean too. It's much cleaner than what they did in the first round that I watched. I love it. And they're just like ba da da da. And they kept the same groove in the torso, like they were on the ground and they were up top, which is why that worked. You know? And look, and I think one of them keep her umbrella? No. So they switched, they threw the umbrella, tossed it up, and then the 3 grabbed it, and then they're using it as a gun. I think that's what gave me that Mafia-esque vibe, because when you have that do-do-do-do-do, it kind of sounds like not When in Paris, but it was kind of like when it's dormant, but there's activity brewing. It's kind of what it felt like to me. It's like it's sleepless in the city. There's always something happening. It's what it felt to me. So I think that's why I feel that way. She was holding it like, man. Okay, so they have katana swords here. And I did briefly look at the lineup, and I saw that Tsubakill was at the bottom, and then Wolflow was second to last. Oh, yeah, I'm looking at the lineup. See, yeah, that's crazy. Like, I mean, that's super interesting. I don't know, like, what the points are here, but it is unfortunate that those 2 are at the bottom if battles have already taken place, because they both held their own great in their battles. Now, out of the 2 sections, I want you to take notice here. There was 2 of the girls. They kind of lost their balance. I think it's these 2 right here. So I'm going to go back just so we can see that together. I think how you set up, it's really important that you're stable. Look. Yeah, so look, they both fall back, but they recovered it. So I want you to know that too.
Put some respect on my check. Pay me in equity. Watch me reverse out of dicks.
And this is so different than what they showed. Now, when I'm like crediting Wolflow for keeping their identity and staying strong, that doesn't mean that if other crews show off different aspects of their crew, that they're doing something wrong. That's not what I mean. I really like the fact that this also feels like Tsubakill, because we saw what they did in the first round that I watched, and now I'm watching here. It's a completely different pocket that they're integrating, you know, and I feel like the prop, I understand, like grabbing it by the mouth, like I understand why they used the prop, but I feel like it's a little different integration than what Wolflow did with their umbrellas, and even what they did with their jackets earlier. I will say the choreo feels a little bit more simpler from Tsubakill than what we're used to seeing. You know, it does kind of look like some of them are not quite 100% invested. It could be because either the short duration it takes to practice this style for them, or just the turnaround time. There's many factors that can play into this, and I'm really factoring that in here, you know, because these are long filming days. But when they're going for it, they're really trying to maintain their formations, you know. But it does look like it's either like they didn't confirm when they were cleaning this or getting this set up on like when to have these moments take place, like when to shoot the legs up, or when to pull in, or when to set up. You know, it just kind of looked like, okay, we're gonna do this, and then by this point in the music we want our feet up. I've done both, so I would say like they really did a great job. I love the musicality moment, that with the feet. Now this right here, I understand that they did it because they were going D-E-E-E-E, right? Yeah, so I like the choices they made here. Do I wish that they could have dynamified this a little bit more? I'm not talking about an astronomical amount. I think it could have been fine. But it does feel like this ending in particular, in comparison to what they've shown. I'm only going off of what they've shown us so far. It feels like this ending was like, we're here, okay, and then da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like it felt like they could have done something a little different with the hand, because they normally would. And I think that's where my notes coming in is that based on the expectations that they have set for themselves in the show, it would make more sense for them to integrate a different choice of the hand after doing it for an 8 count. That's my only note. But they still owned it. They still showed presence in there. Like, it feels very, it's starting to turn very cookie cutter from Tsubakill's standards of what we've seen from them, just at the very end. But I like that moment where they go slow, walk, 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 walk. Like, they even changed up their tempo and their rhythm when they were walking. So even up to that point, they were invested. And I know they were really going for it. So that was really good. Out of the 2 crews, I would have, for that particular set, I would have given it to Wolflow, because their concept seemed more put together. I like their uses of their props. They were conscious of the position of the prop, as well as the gimmick they did. They thought through the entirety of the gimmick, not just when you're supposed to focus on it, but even when it was the other 3, they were doing their part. They were still conscious of what they were doing. And those little details do matter whenever you're going against 2 high caliber crews, right? And then with Tsubakill, I enjoyed what they did. I feel that there were just a couple of moments where it kind of dropped a little bit in the content density that we're used to seeing. And I'm not always one who's going to prefer the content density over the aesthetic, because if you're bringing content but it's not presenting authentically to you as a crew, or to the posture and carriage that the style you're trying to create density with, if that's not working, then you got to sacrifice some of the complexity in order to keep the essence, right? And I feel like that's something that I actually highly respect from Wolflow, is that I feel like they can be pushing themselves. I haven't been watching the show to see the behind the scenes or anything, so y'all can let me know if I'm wrong here. But I feel like Wolflow is pushing themselves and trying new things that they normally wouldn't do, because they're on this show and they're trying different avenues that we normally don't see them in, right? And I feel that, you know, I feel that they are not compromising this for the sake of all of this. And I'm not saying most of the crews are doing that at all. I'm just saying, just talking about Wolflow, talking about how easy it can be to try to make something more like loud in movement, but you can lose a little bit of yourself. And so I'm actually very respectable and commendable seeing Wolflow do what they do. And then with Tsubakill, I really feel like everything that they've brought to the table is justifiable, or that the performance is where it needs to be. And I really think it's unfortunate that we weren't able to see more of them. And I am hopeful that they release their mega crew just like Prime Kings did during Street Man Fighter last season. But goodness, these are really cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I was helpful in some way. I know for me and my scope, I've started being an organizer for battles, more so than a participant of battles, because for me, I really, with waving specifically for myself, that's the style that I choose to do freestyle with. And that is, and freestyle styles are the ones where normally you experience the most battles. And then choreography, they have their competitions, right? So for me, I like being an organizer of those events because I love having conversations with judges. I love having conversations with those who participate, and just being able to kind of see format in the back end of battles, not just, you know, who wins which round, right? Because sometimes it's so much more than that. It's the conversations that you have with people that you end up learning a lot more than, oh, so-and-so did better than so-and-so, right? So I've really enjoyed this because that's kind of my scope and how I'm approaching a lot of these videos. Is I'm either an adjudicator or I'm a teacher of people who participate in these types of things, or I am an organizer, so I understand the back end of these types of things, or I have been a participant, but it's been where I just choose not to participate in that scope anymore because of either my age or my what I want in life as someone who wants to help people in this journey of dance. And so that's just a little bit more about me as to my perspective and scope of how I'm looking at these videos. But I love dance so much. I love being able to make these and being able to have discussions with y'all and grow and learn so much more about these crews, because I know everybody has something that they're able to bring in the comment section that I really feel can grow me as a person and a teacher. So I thank you guys for that. And yeah, so I will catch y'all on the flip side. Bye.